Venga.
Ángela, estamos en Quenneville, en el Chateau de Quenneville. Aquí estamos en Quenneville y ahora vamos a ir a Utah Beach. Utah Beach, después vamos a ir a Point the Hawk, después Omaha Beach, Salt Beach, Juno, Gold. Vamos a ir a otros lados ahí, bim bom, para Japón. Bueno, para Japón porque es Normandy, coño, no más. Y vamos, boys, D-Day, it's D-Day, Disembarkation Day, Deliverance Day, Daddy Day. Vámonos. Let's go in the ratty. Vámonos yo, desert rats. The desert rats are here. Okay, Normandy. Vámonos. Normandy, France. Since I was very young and after watching the film The Longest Day, I knew that it had become part of my bucket list. Blondie and I have just arrived, leaving our traveling bags at a hotel Chateau de Quenneville. We rode to Camp Geronimo in St. Mary Église. We wanted to be part of the 79th D-Day anniversary and enjoy as many of the celebrations that we could. Camp Geronimo is a reenactment camp near the Airborne Museum. It is free and open to all. It includes many historical vehicles, a plethora of scenes and demonstrations of all kinds. Camp Geronimo has become a staple of the D-Day celebrations in Normandy. It is now one of the largest American reenactment camps of Europe. The reenactors will be present throughout the event to exchange with visitors and many demonstrations. The event also includes a military vehicle parade through the streets of St. Mary Église. Well worth a visit, my friends, well worth a visit. He wouldn't even have a Sherman. The Americans, during the phase of preparation of the airborne operations preliminary to landing in Normandy, placed the village of St. Mary-Église in the heart of the jump zones of the 82nd Airborne Division. It is the 505th Parachute Infantry Regiment, commanded by Colonel William E. Ekman, who is in charge of seizing the municipality. In the early hours of D-Day, which entrusts this mission to Lieutenant Colonel Edward C. Krause, commanding the 3rd Battalion. In order to simplify the taking of St. Mary-Église, the Americans defined a jump zone directly to the northwest of the village, between the Meredith River and the National Road 13 Code Drop Zone O. Downtown St. Mary-Église, a few hours before the arrival of the Allied paratroopers, a fire broke out in the house of Madame Pommier. Around 11 p.m. on June 5th, 1944, transformed into a huge brazier a few minutes later. Despite efforts of the inhabitants to extinguish it, this fire serves as a reference point in the night to the American pilots. Shortly after 0150, a stick of Company F of the 2nd Battalion of the 505th was mistakenly dropped over the town. The Germans, already alerted 20 minutes earlier by the release of 2 sticks of the 506th of the 101st Airborne Division on the place of the church, pulls all the American paratroopers. At least one member of the Fox Company falls in the blaze of the burning house. The parachutes of soldiers Steele and Russell cling to the church, and only the latter manages to get out of this bad step. Immediately, John Steele remains hanging on the bell tower for 45 minutes. Injured by a flake of flak shell during his jump before being taken prisoner by the Germans, the lines of his parachute were cut by Rudolph May and Rudy Escher, who stayed in the church steeple during the battle.
Venga.
Ángela, estamos en Quenneville, en el Chateau de Quenneville. Aquí estamos en Quenneville y ahora vamos a ir a Utah Beach. Después vamos a ir a Point the Hawk, pues Omaha Beach, Salt Beach, Juneau, Gold. Vamos a ir a otros lados ahí, bim bom, para Japón. Bueno, para Japón porque es Normandy, coño, no. Y vamos, boys, D-Day. It's D-Day, Disembarkation Day, Deliverance Day, Daddy Day. Vámonos. Let's go in the ratty. Vámonos, yo, desert rats. The desert rats are here. Okay, Normandy. Vámonos. 6th of June 2023, 79th anniversary. We just left the hotel and we're heading for our first location, Utah Beach. Located on the east shore of the base of the Constantine Peninsula, Utah Beach was a late addition to the area scheduled for invasion. The original plan for operational overload did not call for a landing on the Constantine, but General Dwight D. Eisenhower, Supreme Commander of the Allied Expeditionary Force, added it to ensure an early capture of the port of Cherbourg at the northern tip of the peninsula. The Utah landing area was approximately 5 kilometers, 3 miles wide, and was located northwest of the Carrington Estuary on sandy duned beaches. Compared with German fortifications at Omaha Beach, the defenses of Utah, based on fixed infantry positions, were sparse because of the low-lying areas immediately behind the landing area were flooded, and Germans could control the flooding with locks. Everybody, 6th of June 2023, 79 years from this day, American troops landed on this beach, Utah Beach. We remember. Four causeways exited the beach through the flooded lowlands and severely restricted movement inland. Indeed, all land traffic was restricted to established routes, especially through the important crossroads towns of Carentan and Saint-Mary-Église. Defences along the causeways consisted mostly of strong points equipped with automatic weapons. Some 3 kilometers, 2 miles inland were coastal and field artillery batteries. The defending forces consisted of elements of the German 709th and 243rd and 91st Infantry Divisions. The assault sectors at Utah Beach were designated from west to east Tara Green, Ankle Red and Victor. The invasion was planned for Tara Green and Ankle Red, with the number 3 causeway almost in the middle of the landing area. H hour, that is the time at which the first wave of landing would hit the beach, was scheduled for 0630 hours. The beach was to be assaulted by the US 4th Infantry Division. The plan was to cross the beach and seize control of the coast roads, link up with airborne troops who were to have been dropped inland 5 hours earlier, and then prepared to attack towards Cherbourg. The 8th Infantry Regiment was to attack first, supported by 32 special amphibious Sherman tanks in the first wave. It was to land opposite Les Dunes de Varaville, a well-fortified area. The landing plan went wrong from the beginning. Strong currents beset the landing craft, and the area was obscured by smoke from the preceding shore bombardment. But the main problem was the loss of 3 of the 4 designated control craft to mines. The 4th control craft eventually rounded up the confused landing craft looking for directions, and using a bullhorn for communication, led them in. The force landed 1,800 meters, 2,000 yards east of the designated landing area, in the less defended Victor sector and almost astride causeway number 2. The assistant division commander, Brigadier General Theodore Roosevelt Jr., quickly realized the error, uttering his famous remark, "We'll start the war from here." He ordered the division to advance. 3 hours later, exits 1, 2 and 3 had been secured, and by 1200 hours, contact had been made with paratroopers from the 101st Airborne Division around the town of Pupeville. By the end of the day, the 4th Division had pushed inland about 6 kilometers, 4 miles, and its westernmost units were within a mile of the 82nd Airborne's perimeter near Saint-Mary-Église. For an assault that began with such terrible confusion, the Utah Beach landings ended as a spectacular success, beyond the most optimistic expectations. The 1,800-meter era had placed the landing force away from the heavily defended area of Les Dunes de Varaville and into a less defended section of the beach. 20,000 troops and 1,700 motorized vehicles had landed at Utah with surprisingly few casualties, fewer than 300 men. The Germans had not counterattacked the seaborne assault, owing to the success of the Allied airborne troops in holding the roads that led to the beach approaches, and also to confusion among the German commanders as to exactly where the main attack was taking place. The Germans, however, were in a position to counterattack in the Cotentin Peninsula at the end of D-Day. paratroopers from the US 82nd and 101st Airborne Divisions were night dropped inland on the Constantine in order to support the amphibious assault at nearby Utah Beach. The drop zones for the 101st Division were labeled A, C, and D and were in the vicinity of roads leading from Utah Beach. Drop Zone A was to the west of St. Martin de Vareville, while D and C were west and southwest of St. Mary du Mont. Drop zones for the 82nd Division were labeled N, O, and T. They were positioned north of the Douve River and on either side of its principal tributary, the Meredith, all to the west of St. Mary-Église. German forces in the Constantine capable of countering the airborne divisions were 2 regiments for the 91st Division, including 1 battalion of tanks and the 6th Parachute Regiment. The main defense of the Constantine, however, was natural. The flooding of lowlands and marshes, as controlled by a lock near the mouth of the Douve River at La Barquette, just north of Carentan. The commander of German forces in Normandy, Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, had ordered the lock at La Barquette to be opened at high tide in order to flood the area and close at low tide to hold the waters in. The entire lowland of the Douve and Meredith rivers were thus a constant marsh. The objective of the 101st Airborne, commanded by Major General Maxwell Taylor, was to seize the inland sides of the 4 causeways leading from Utah Beach in order to allow the 4th Infantry Division to exit the beach during the dawn invasion. In addition, they were to destroy 2 highway bridges and a railroad bridge north of Carentan on the only good routes across the swamp that the Germans could use to move to the flank of the invasion area. Finally, they were to seize and hold the lock at La Barquette. To the west, the objective of the 82nd Airborne under Major General Matthew Ridgway and Brigadier General James Gavin was to destroy 2 bridges on the Douve, capture the crossroads town of St. Mary-Église and secure the west bank of the Meredith River and hold a bridgehead there. Beginning at 22:15 hours on D-Day -1, more than 900 C-47 aircraft began to transport 13,000 men of the 2 divisions from England to the Constantine Peninsula. The drops of both divisions suffered from scattering due to a lack of navigational aids as well as enemy ground fire, which forced transport pilots to take evasive action. Many paratroopers were killed by fire before they hit the ground, and many more were drowned upon landing in the flooded zones. Those who survived were forced to find one another on the ground and then move and fight in the small groups, many unrelated by units, rather than in organized battle formations as planned. Many men fought under strange leaders for unfamiliar objectives. Despite such setbacks, the scattering of the paratroopers had the one advantage of confusing the Germans, who had great difficulty in determining the size and scope of the force and then moving to counter it. By the end of D-Day, few objectives had been seized, though the 4 exits from Utah Beach were held by the 101st Airborne and a link-up with the 4th Division had been achieved. The lock at La Barquette was in American hands, as was the town of St. Mary-Église, but the Germans were counter-attacking there, and control was tenuous. The road and rail bridges of the Douve were still in enemy hands, and the 82nd Airborne had not made contact with forces from the beach. The western flank of the Normandy invasion therefore was anything but secure. Losses had been heavy, each division having suffered some 1,200 casualties. with all the reenactment groups in the jeeps and military vehicles of the time, gives you that eerie feeling that you're part of the invasion force 1944. That is part of the D-Day celebrations, and it's a must if you're a fan of this to be there during that time. Anda. La moto ya, la moto, That's right, take your phone.